Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
What's up, family? We here. What's up, girl? What's up? How you doing, beautiful?
I'm well. See, the show's gonna be powerful. There's I'm well.
That's right. It's gonna be powerful because we are powerful, family. That's right. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming in. And please tell them to do something. Please tell them to do this. Please tell them, please. I'm waiting for you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm telling you, please tell them what's written on the bottom there. Please tell them. Can you see it?
Oh, yes. Please like us. Please subscribe to us. Please share. You guys, please share this. Please share this. And thank you for showing up.
That's right. Thank you for showing up and showing out. Today's topic is going to be off the hizzle for shizzle.
Yes.
Because the topic is actually something that my sister here seen after reading anything about him. We had his wife on, and now we're going to have this brother on. Believe that is going to be hot.
Yep, definitely. And this is something that is so important. A lot of us need to kind of get guidance around how to tap into our discernment to avoid, all of the noise, I'm going to say, coming at us from every direction. So this is I'm excited about this topic.
Me too. I'm very excited because I've known Aseer for many years, over 10 years. And and the brother has been always very genuine with me, always very respectful. And him and his wife, as the team members that they are, oh man, it's a beautiful thing. And I knew his father before his father passed off because his father was a journalist also. So I knew his father, and I was a journalist back in the day. And his father used to write for a newspaper in New York called a contributing writer for Amsterdam News. So the first lecture me and Aseer did back in the day was in 2007 together. We did it back in the day in a place called Elks Plaza, I believe we did it at the first one we did. And I have the flyer still. I still have that flyer, which is interesting.
Oh, wow.
And Aseer was dropping the wisdom, sharing his knowledge the way he loves to share. And, family, again, please, like our sister said, please like, subscribe, and share. Remember, sharing is caring.
Mm-hmm.
And Aseer is going to drop some real interesting stuff because, again, the topic is how to use discernment to avoid being manipulated by propaganda. And we're going to delve into it because it's not only physical, it's spiritual too. And it affects people's spirit. What you say to that, beautiful? Talk to me.
Yeah, it's deep. A lot of the times we don't even realize that what we are ingesting and, in our sight, our two eyes, it's really tapping into parts of ourselves that is causing us to not be true to the truth of who we are. These propaganda machines, which we modernly call the media, different forms of media, their origin is based in propaganda. That's why they were erected, to spread propaganda. So oftentimes we are getting information that we don't know if it's true or not, but it is tapping into our senses and our emotions. So it's not allowing us to be able to see clearly because we're so wrapped up in the emotional aspect of what we're being fed. Right. So knowing how to discern what is true to you. And that's also, let's go on the energetic side of things. Remembering or knowing, because a lot of people don't even knowing how to tap into your innate intuition, your intuitive side, which is the gut in your first brain, the belly, the gut. Understanding when that tells you something is off or something isn't right, and then allowing yourself to follow the markers to you really dive deep and figure out what is not right about us. Why does it feel so disassociated from my truth? And then, practicing how to do that and learning how to tap back into self, allow us to see things and recognize when they are for us, when they're truth versus when they're just, I'm going to use the word again, propaganda being fed to us to galvanize our attention and our emotion in a certain direction for a specific reason. So yeah, it's all about learning how to really tap back into your truth.
Go ahead. Hold on, because I got to handle something real quick. Go ahead and keep on talking and talk to them, please.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay. What you sorry for? Hi, everyone. But yeah, we have been in so many different situations where we have been pulled in so many emotional directions on purpose. Yeah. And a lot of people fall prey to the pulls because standing your ground or even learning how to navigate these uncertain or uncomfortable waters, it's not pleasant. So a lot of people just allow themselves to go with the current of which they are being pushed in whatever direction. And that is not really being true to yourself because you're not tapping into your internal knowing. You're allowing an external source to govern your direction and your choice, you know what I mean, for feeling and being on this planet based on what they want. They have an agenda for everything. So again, back to your internal knowing is never wrong. It's never misguided. We are given this internal GPS system, this compass, to help us discern what is safe, what is true, what is right for us and our evolution, our growth, our joy, peace, safety. Yeah.
Exactly. Give that a round of applause. The sister broke it down. My sister breaks it down. That's why this particular platform is King Simon Presents Quality People. And also, please subscribe to her channel, which is Kerry-Ann Ingram at YouTube. Let me put that up there right now. This is her YouTube channel. Let's build her algorithms also, because she actually puts up, some videos about what she does, of course, from her perspective and her spiritual perspective, being that she is a spiritual guide and she does Reiki healing and all that beautiful stuff that our people so needs, because it's all about respecting the different nuances, the nuances of people, that what they do and how they present the information that is either uploaded, downloaded, or what they've acquired over the years of knowledge and information. And of course, the brother that we're about to bring on momentarily, I believe he's backstage already, and that's good. It's all 8:01, so that's good. The brother we're about to bring on, I got to read what his bio says briefly before we bring on our brother. So as soon as he get his camera together, we'll get it together and we'll put him on. Because as soon as I see him, then I'm going to read, because, he knows I know how to bring people on with a well-deserved round of applause. But what you said, Kerry-Ann, before we got into that was very good. And I hope people take to heart what our sister is sharing. And what sisters say in general, because sometimes we forget that our sisters got something to say. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we forget. As brothers, we forget that our dear sisters have something to say. And I dare say that it's very profound, because in ancient times, sisters ran the spiritual governance and men run the physical governance. They had to bring balance. It's all about the balance, so I'm honored to have her as a co-host in this dispensation of time. I know. Oh, y'all see.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with you.
See, now I got to give that. Oh, there's a kiss. But I got the sound effects, kissing sound effects. There we go. Oh. But before we bring on, it is now 8:03, and that's a master number. 803 equals 11. So we're gonna bring on our brother right now. Are you ready, darling? Are you ready, my sister?
Ready.
All right. I said the Duke of Tears is a father, husband, chairman of MST of A, to a national grand governor of Home Office Sultan of the Moroccans, I think it's Marrakedas, Estado, natural historian, fine artist, published author of DarkSkull148.com, metaphysician, astrologer, life coach, doctor of jurisprudence. A lot of people don't know he's a doctor of jurisprudence, columnist, musician, creator, and founder of Superhero Radio on blogtalkradio.com back in the day. Lecturer, and of course, still doing it, creator and healer and tarot interpreter. We want to welcome on the stage of King Simon Presents Only Quality People, but also on Kerry-Ann Ingram's on YouTube. But on this particular program, we call it the Healing Vibes. Let's welcome the one, the only, Aseer, the Duke of Tears in the building.
Welcome.
Everybody, what's up, man?
My brother.
He's doing well.
Oh, man, got to put you in the middle.
Appreciate
How you been, brother? You always relaxing on that couch.
Yeah, man. I try to do it in the crib, instead of being outside or.
Yeah.
I mean,
every time I see you now in an interview, that's why I see you just chilling and relaxing,
You know what I'm saying? Like, what else we gonna do, bro?
no stress, true. Right? I said no stress.
Or strive not to.
Exactly.
Because you can't really change what's going to happen regardless.
Yes, yes, and this is Sister Kerry-Ann Ingram. I want you to acknowledge who the sister is.
So good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, sister.
You as well.
And we had a good time with your wife. Had an
He's amazing.
Yeah, she told me, she was like, "Yeah, it was really popping.
Yeah,
it was really great, man. Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna treat your wife well, brother. You know how it is. Well, that's how it is, man. That's we family. We used to live in the same neighborhood too, and
right. All over, bro. A couple of
wow.
Yeah, and I know his father from being a writer and a journalist himself. Indeed. And big up to the late Mr. Rogers himself. Big up to him all the time, because he's from Amsterdam and those and of course I was at SOBs and I was also a journalist back in the day. So it's always good to see that the children of such esteemed gentleman and brother like him, and of course I met your beautiful mother. Also, enough respect to her and the things that the two that came together to bring forth the God himself. You know, so
I wouldn't be here. That's facts.
Bro. And you know, I'm always happy to have you on, brother. And let me just make sure people are clear about, of course, the websites and everything. International metaphysics teacher and historian, much more. Of course, I just read the bio. Make sure you go to Aseer, the Duke of Tears, gumroad.com, also cordobaorganics.com. Make sure you hit that up. And the other one that you gave me, every time I go to it, is not coming up. So I didn't want to show that website that you gave me also. So I wanted to stay with the ones that work. Hit up his Cash App at $DS418 and his PayPal using the Duke of Tears at gmail.com. Make sure you spread love. Spread love. That's the Brooklyn way. That's where we from.
Brooklyn way. That's right.
That's where we came from. Were you born in Brooklyn, Aseer?
Yeah, man. Kings County, man.
You born in Kings County? I was born in the Jewish hospital, Brooklyn
Jewish Hospital.
Yeah. My daughters were born on the. My daughter's son was born in Kings County.
Born and raised, fam. You know what I mean? Like seeing the whole thing go from one thing to the next. So
you know what's so funny? My cousin was the architect for the new wing of Brooklyn, of Kings County. She's the architectural designer for that. So the whole new wing, all of that brand new stuff, she's one of the architectural team for that.
They needed it because that shit was
exactly,
collapsing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I said the topic is, of course, is how to use discernment to avoid being manipulated by propaganda. And hospitals. And now that we're talking about places like Kings County and all that, and I don't want to go down that way because they snatching people's channel when you deal with medical stuff. So let's not go there too far. They snatching people's channels. I'm dead ass.
Exactly.
So those are a form of propaganda tools also. Of course, the media is a form of propaganda.
Education,
dedication. That's what Phil Valentine called it, dedication. Yes. But before we go there, we just lost one of another person that that you were sitting right next to him at a forum that we did. Brother Rich produced over there. Brother Panic. Let's give that ancestral round of applause to know that brother meant a lot and he did so much for us.
Word, man.
Talk about that loss right now, or that transition. Let's say loss. Let's say transition.
I didn't really unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to really build, the way that people may have thought. But however, I would say every time I spoke to him, it was always peace. And even though I didn't always agree with a lot of certain things that he was talking about, in the way that he was putting it out, I always thought that he did a great job in doing what he did. You know what I mean? And the amount of fellowship that went into that type of environment at the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking from the time Bobby kind of stopped and then he kind of took the torch that way, started doing what he started doing with that.
Right.
It allowed everybody who was inspired, you know what I mean, by Bobby to be able to see elements of that within his presentations and how he was able to establish things in terms of his own way of interpretation. So I thought in that, any free thinker is great, whether I agree with it.
Oh, no, that's right. Everybody did it their own way, man. Everybody do it their own way.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody had their way, especially at the time. I remember, at the time, prior to the internet, YouTube was still there, but I would say, however, it was a lot of older stuff being dumped on it at that time. And because we were still kinetic in the street, really grassroots, and you would just walk, it was at such a time, you could just walk into lectures. You could you know what I'm saying? You would just walk into something and people would be conversing, you know what I'm saying? And not just you know, our people. Like I've seen, you know, so-called debates between, you know, people who are relegated to a certain level of authority in white circles and watch them get broke down. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing. And then that's when I started to see like how debate and things could be used as a means of greater communication and exercising people's political views. However, you know, whenever there's not the beauty of having a centralized place to receive information is great. However, it's only as good as the information is being brought. You see what I'm saying? So once there is a decline in, like it used to be, people could discern the message from the messenger.
Yes.
Understand?
Right.
And like I didn't have to agree. I didn't have to be a Muslim to identify with certain points that this Muslim brother or sister was relaying. I didn't have to be Islamic Hebrew or Nuwapian or something to see the benefit in the scrolls and certain things. You did explain, like I could see, like everybody was contributing to it. It wasn't like I'm the Hebrew, so this is why everybody that's not Hebrew is whack. It became like a whole, like almost like a battle rap or battle centric idea.
That part.
That was subtly and not so subtly imposed. Through
why? Why?
Because she's from Toronto, so she don't know what happened.
I have no idea.
You perfectly unbiased. Why? Well, for money.
For money.
And once the money was being made, it was then not even about the money because they was making the money. So when you don't have the money, it's about making the money. Once you start really making the money, right? Now it's got to be about what I'm doing with the money, how I'm flossing the money, and how the money is going to take me to the next vehicle. So then I started to notice, you know how like people use like rap as a springboard, like they started using consciousness as the springboard into the next arena. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be spiritual advisor for this one, or you know what I'm saying, manager for this one, or you know, hedge fund representative for this one, whatever it was. The proxy game started with that. So then it went from that to just clout. You understand? Because the people who could make the money and made it in such a way that it wasn't sustainable in the way that they were doing it, because it took conflict and controversy to maintain itself. So so it wasn't organic like the original stuff was prior to the internet. Not saying that the stuff after the internet was somehow let's say better or fake. I would just say it became more saturated with people who could literally binge watch somebody and then take on that persona in their way and then strive to then one day do that. So one day you're a gangster, you know, whatever, you know what I mean, a rapper, drill rapper, whatever. And then the next week you talking about Dr. Satan and you know what I'm saying, you about green juicing, and then you know what I'm saying.
But isn't that how the spiritual realm works anyways? People take on the spiritual embodiment of that particular spirit, so they could have opened themselves up to that spirit.
I would surmise it's possible. I would just say that it's unlikely, being that they've created a base. It's like Malcolm X can't be the basis of everybody's come up story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody that came out of jail with knowledge was not Malcolm X, but we're turning everybody that come out of jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or let's take it out of the jail. The criminal mentality associating hip hop or melanated people or poor people specifically with criminality, as if being poor breeds criminality, when it's really criminality feeds on the poor. You see what I'm saying? To get rich. So, but we're raised to dance to get rich or die trying. You see what I'm saying? So we have to now go into this mode of money is God. You dig? So once the money becomes God, different aspects of how that God is worshipped becomes the basis of how they make the money. You understand? So a Christian preacher, right, who is preaching Christianity, right, is not going to go into his pulpit and then start reading from the Quran unless he's trying to do a juxtaposition to say how much better the Bible is than that. You understand?
Facts.
So it's the same thing with the Imam. He's going to do the same thing, but all of their books come out the same books, and then those books come out of earlier books that were all interpreted to us by men.
Can I just say, I'm so sorry. Your last lecture was so informative. The amount of detail,
thank you.
You're welcome. I learned so much. I implore everyone to, if you want to learn about the conflict and what is really happening, the origin, the history, go check out his YouTube page.
I'm gonna put that up right now.
Like that. Yeah, like you're extremely knowledgeable about so many different areas, and I'm glad you spoke on this one because there's so many misinformation and
they're getting us caught up as usual because that's how they're able to function, by keeping people in a constant state of kinetic inertia. Like you feel like something's going to happen, but you don't know what it is. It could be any of these things. So pick which one you want to see happen, both consciously or subconsciously, and anchor that now to your reality, and now it's going to happen to you.
Exactly.
So what you got to do is look at all of these as potential realities, potential possibilities, right? While at the same time knowing that the whole thing is rigged. So if it do happen, it's going to follow the script that's already been ordained for them to do that.
Can you repeat that for the people in the back pew?
You know what I'm saying? Like, just relax. Like, there's nothing you're going to be able to do anyway. Like, if they're going to... It's to the point now where propaganda is no longer propaganda. Propaganda is now communication. So in a communicative form, anything that you are speaking of in a manner that is going to garner somebody's attention is then seen as influence. So any influence, they need to be under the main influencer, which to them, in their little cabal, is whatever entity is occupying that space, whether that's Lucifer or Baal or Moloch or Tiamat or Attis or any of these things that they have given psychic and blood energy to, and then were able to create sigils that they were then able to transliterate into corporate symbols and then create a structure around that to be able to perpetuate and propagate these deities, right, to everybody else through the products that everybody likes, that have a public face and a private face, a open door and a false door that allows the inhabitation or the possession or the consummation, right? This all goes into you being a consumer. The consummation, which again, consummation That's now a biblical, see what I'm saying?
So
A religious thing.
Is that an agreement? They're having an agreement,
right,
with the entities.
Yes.
Unconsciously.
Yes.
However, it doesn't matter. It's still an agreement. So therefore, you're liable, correct?
Yes. Yes. However, ignorance, right? Being a fool gives you the ability to rise from your ignorance. You see what I'm saying? So it's one thing to be ignorant, but it's another thing to be willfully ignorant. When you're willfully ignorant, that means you know what's really going on, but you're gonna go, however, you're gonna go and perpetuate whatever it's gonna be, so that way you can get what you want. So you're gonna feign dumb. You're gonna act like you don't know that, between congressional sessions, they going into underground places and doing the things they do to children or whatever. Allegedly. You see what I'm saying?
Allegedly, yeah.
However, it doesn't change the fact that that's happening. You understand? Whether I say allegedly or not, it's happening. And there's more than enough evidence. They've actually got on the congressional floor and said that the whole Biden administration has been running a HT organization from the beginning. So all of this trafficking of people and things and stuff like that, that's all actively being supported. Yet there's no concerted active body that is coming out and saying this is wrong, and because we know exactly how this is happening, we can stop it. No.
But isn't it because it's an old script? This is not something new. This is the script. This is what they do, and
that's just what they do in third density. This is how it works in third density. However, we've passed that now. We're walking around in a fourth dimensional, post third dimensional reality. You understand? We are spiritually rising or accepting a fifth dimensional consciousness that is reflective and is now pulling us away from the physical aspect of things that we're supposed to care about. So you can watch certain atrocities happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be really upset about it. But then you come home and then you see your cat or you see a dog and then you feel happy again. Or you see your loved one, your spouse, your female or your male, or you turn on the TV, or you sit down and start playing a game, start shooting something, and you start feeling happy. It's not that you've forgotten about the atrocity, but the reality sets in that there's nothing that I can physically do unless I'm going to physically go like Extraction and go to this place and make something happen. Until then, I have to create a better reality in my own personal sphere of influence that will then reverberate out and affect and protect others with the same intent.
Yes.
Instead of, I saw today, this is what I mean about propaganda reaching an all-time low, where they reached the top of the bottom of the middle of deviancy and total what would be the word? Just total insanity. I saw a clip of a woman, very well dressed, hair done, makeup. I guess she's what you would phenotypically would maybe consider an Arabic type of female. And she driving some real dope car. I don't know, Maserati something. And she pull up to the scene. She come out. She got her she's, she flossing. So she comes out.
She's dripping.
Right, she dripped out. So she gets out of the space, the car, whatever it is, right? She got her her chic bandana or whatever the thing is. And she put it on. And then she turns out she's going to a protest. She's protesting. She's pro-Israel. pro-Palestine, right? But then I'm looking next to her, there's another chick out there, and she got the Taliban flag.
Can't make it up. Can't make this up. Can't make it up.
Literally, Earth is a comedy show. It is.
What? Like, if the Taliban was here, you wouldn't be doing that.
Exactly.
Like, you wouldn't be protesting in Prada, shorty. Like, you would have to, you'd have to be on some, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
facts.
And like, do you even know? Like, I don't even think you know. I just think, hey, this is an Arabic thing. I'm Palestine, Hamas, Taliban. It's all the same. You know what I mean? And technically, if we're going to do the historical record, she's right. She would be right. Like Hamas, Taliban, Al Qaeda, all that come from Muslim Brotherhood, and all that come from something earlier. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all true. You understand? It's true they brought over 350,000 Nazis, hardcore Nazis, and put them in governmental positions, pay for their housing, pay for their children's schooling, allowed the integration, created the fake records. This is true. And most of these children and these people are today on TV. You understand what I'm saying? And still making money. But we're never, you understand what I'm saying? But if you look at the rise of what they call racism and white supremacy and all this other type of stuff they're talking about, again, this is the propaganda that comes when you infest the country with people that you grifted us to believe you was over there fighting against. So you mean to tell me all of them so-called black soldiers, so-called white soldiers, so-called German, all these niggas died just for you to bring all of them over here and then give them jobs and social security numbers? So when they do it now in 2023 with these immigrants, like, what do y'all think is gonna happen? Like, this is how they do it. As Montel Jordan say, this is how it goes. This is how you've allowed them. And when I say you, I'm not talking about you or I, because based upon our position in it, we, in legal terms, would be seen as having a hold harmless agreement. We can't be held, you know what I'm saying, on the same account as these people for what y'all been doing. Because Project all of this,
Paperclip.
Yeah, Paperclip, Mongoose, Naomi, Ultra,
the list is so long. Yes.
You understand? Like, this is why they literally took themselves to court to give them the right to lie to the American people. So what I'm saying,
100%.
Y'all know, or like, there was no Watergate, like what was his name? Woodward and Bernstein. These were ops. These were straight CIA ops. They wanted Nixon out of there. They needed him out of there so that way they could put in a president that was not elected to see if they could do it. Who elected Gerald Ford? Nobody elected him. How did he get in there? This is what I'm saying. This is the problem with that. So when people start getting too thing with that, then they start changing the education. Let's slow it up. Let's take what we would have put in college courses, and we'll just make movies. And then those that understand how the movies work will be able to glean what we got out of that.
Right. And they can't say we didn't tell them.
Right.
But you know what's really interesting? It's so interesting where we are right now, because we can see that information is being changed and erased right in front of our eyes, right? Yeah. The books are being rewritten. And it's so funny. The end of October here in Toronto, the city that I'm in is in Toronto. Our public library system got cyber attacked. And I say because it's so garbage, because I believe all the information that was put in is now being changed because they need to redoctor all of the content that we are now, the truth seekers, are going in feverishly and learning and collecting. So my question to you is, how does one really attune themselves to their discernment? you know, for those who are like, okay, how do I learn how to recognize what's true and what's not?
One way is to not take everything personal. It's not
just said that.
about you. It's about what they're doing to us. So whether you're a he, a she, a they, a them, they don't care what you or people don't. The only person I've heard say this outside of me, funny enough, is Elon Musk, who himself comes off as a human artificial. However,
exactly.
However, at the same token, a broken clock is right twice a day.
That's
and
right.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. He seems to be against certain aspects, while on other aspects he's down with it. So at best, he's a jack. Like if this was a card game, he'd be a jack because he like a jack of diamonds when it comes to astrology. He one of them type things. Like he could just be that or not.
It could be anything.
Right. So you know, he's the only one that says this. That we're really dealing with extinctionists. We're dealing with we're not dealing with nihilists. We're dealing with extinctionists. They were nihilists. They were nihilists under Trump. Now that it's getting close to him getting back in there, they become now extinctionists. They're ready to just throw it all down the drain because they know that they've lost. But they were already predicted to lose. They knew that. So the time that they have been doing what they've been doing has been squandered because they have lost the generation that they needed to have the most control over, and that was Generation X. That's why nobody talks about us.
Facts.
Nobody wants to really acknowledge that we're really here, and we hate everybody else's generation. And that's just how it is. It's not like when I say we hate them, we don't hate them. We just
we're not like them.
We don't like them, and they don't like us. They don't like us because we're the last human generation left. We're the last generation to remember. Like I could hear a commercial and hear where the commercial got the sample that it took from what hip hop record that was taken from whatever R&B record that's now being interpreted through a live band in a commercial. Like my mind does that. Like, oh, that's James Brown. Oh, that's Al Green. Oh, that's what. See, so I hear it as it is. I'm like the body. Like when the body ingests a raisin, it turns the raisin back into a grape before it digests it. So you go back to what you know is the truth. So what they've done is they've turned on the Hadrian Collider. They've tried to attune the heart thing. They're trying to bust holes into the firmament. They're trying to get under the invisible wall that goes down past what the Jews call the Sheol, that gets under the water. Ocean. Like this, like there's oceans under the oceans under the ocean, right? So just as winds have currents, oceans themselves have currents, because in the end, it's all one body of water. Water, even when it evaporates, it goes back into water. So it really doesn't go anywhere. So even us speaking, we're speaking through water. So regardless of what they want to create, there's nowhere for them to go. So they have to fool us by, like I said, turning on the Hadrian Collider, still perpetuating the idea of an outer space the way that they've told us, the same way that they want to perpetuate, like this is 2023, like all of this is just a means to slow down what it really is. So they created another thing called they call it the Mandela effect, right? They created this to
Can we talk about that? Because that is really messing me up. There's so many things that I'm like,
Oh, okay. Wait, before you do, stick a pin. Family that are just tuning in, I need y'all to turn up them likes. We got 75 likes, and there's only 111 people watching. No, I'm going to take Aseer off of the page. I'm gonna take Aseer off of the page until y'all like, press that like button. I ain't playing none of y'all. We need to build this algorithm because what the information, just the dialogue between him and Kerry-Ann, and the only reason I'm keeping quiet is because I know Aseer. I want Kerry-Ann to filter her energy right into, because I know she has a lot of energy and a lot of questions. Like I said, the sisters got something to say. Let them ask the question. I want to see the like button press. It's 79 people, 115 people watching. Now press that like button right now and share this algorithm, because what he about to drop about the Mandela effect, which we've been learning for years. I mean, the first lecture I did with Aseer is in 2007. Yep. We've been talking about this for years. So I need y'all to press those like buttons. I want to turn up. It's up to 94. I need to see 110 or 117 likes right now. I'm not putting Aseer back on this screen. Y'all need to do that right now. Don't let me be like Kevin Samuels up in this place. I will play all the crazy sounds. Like I'll play all the crazy sounds on you. Right?
Y'all got in trouble.
I need to hear. I see. Turn up, turn up, turn up. Press those likes and share. Gunshot. We from me and Aseer from Flatbush. Gunshot to all on out there. If you're not press no button. No, man, I ain't got blood clot. We don't know. So let's stop playing. All right now. All right, I see it going up. It's over 107. Okay, look, come on. I see y'all going up. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Now, let's give that a round of applause. And hold on, let's promote the man's website so people know what it is. All right, so his website. Please go to I said the Duke of Tears at gumroad.com. Go to his beautiful wife's website, who I support also, organics.com. Hit him up at Cash App. That's $DS418, and also hit him up at PayPal at dukeoftears@gmail.com. Don't play with me now. Y'all know I don't like to be played with here. All right. What's up, Duke? Go ahead, Duke.
I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate
I love you, man. You know we family, bro.
I do, brother. I really appreciate the support. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everybody, if you can, definitely please subscribe to YouTube too, because they keep taking my subscribers off. They've been locking me at under 50,000 for about 4 years now. So
you way above that, bro. We already know.
Would think, right? But nah, they got it really on some crazy shadow ban.
They shadow banning,
right grip shit. So if you guys,
because you're dropping too much truth.
That's right.
And like, it's so beautiful. So I also see that you have your Rumble. So
yeah. So that's the backup. God forbid anything happens. But I'm able to just drop everything on there, and then pretty soon, people will be able to go to right now. If you go to iPhone, I think it's up there. If you go to it's my app. I'm gonna have an app that people will be able to get on Apple. It's on Apple at beta test right now. We're about to go live where it'll be on the Apple Store, and you'll be able to get it on Android and all that.
Awesome.
I'll be able to just dump everything directly on there, do lives from there.
Man, congratulations, Aseer. I get that around. Congratulations. Now, I know
your own.
I know where you're coming from with all of this that we did back in the day.
You already know, Mo. You already know. Look at that. You dig? And that's what I'm saying. We're about to like really come out with, different ways and different angles of doing it. I'm coming out with my book again, but it's redux and it's colored and re-edited. It's really dope. It's going to be out soon. So I'm going to have all of that out there. But
this is the Rumble account right here, family. I'm also on Rumble, but I haven't activated, but that's the Rumble account. And, Aseer's book, man, that book, somebody stole that book from me, matter of fact. So that's a thick ass book.
That good, eh?
Yeah.
Great.
You should do an audible of that book, man.
I'm audible for that. I'm working on that now.
Oh wow!
I have a audible version of that, so that way people listen
crazy.
To it.
Yeah.
I love that book. And I think it's my cousin that stole it though, but never gave it back to me. Like my books. I know if people steal my books, what the hell is going on?
They be out. They be gone.
Gone.
But that's part of the. One time I was talking to Bobby,
Oh.
And he said that one time. He was like, you know, I was like, yeah. I said, you ever have books and then like you go and then
it disappeared?
He said, what? And then the book just disappeared? I was like, yeah. Like, yeah, that's the motherfucking, excuse my language. He said, that's them, what do you call it? Them
Spirits?
Them things. They sometimes they just need them. They need them. He said, but that means that you done already digested it. Even if you read one page, like you can, he said, you the type to be able to read one page of a book and get the whole gist of the shit. He said, you know, there's some people that can do that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do with what I was saying, like with the Mandela effect, because really, in order for the Mandela effect to be a constant in reality, in the reality we're in now, in order for that to be a constant, one would have to again surmise that that it would be possible for something in order for the Mandela effect to be a thing, a real thing, it would then hinge upon something that we modern people would call group hypnosis or group psychosis. You understand?
Yep.
So I don't know how excuse me, it's a little hot here. I don't know how that would work, because group hypnosis or group psychosis, I should say, is not a real thing. That's not real. You understand what I'm saying? Like you could have a device that could hypnotize everybody. You could hypnotize 1 million people.
But don't they?
1,000,001 person is
but
not
don't they?
Yeah, they do, but it still don't work. It don't work. They've been doing it hardcore to us for 250 years. They've been trying to get us to forget about the Moors, trying to get us to forget about vegetables, trying to get us to forget about our grandmothers, our grandfathers. They done made us forget about the cities, the towns. They done made us forget how we built the pyramid, like everything. We didn't, but we still remember. We still we still figuring it out. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I was out today and I had this on. And I passed this dude, and he's obviously Saudi, right? And he's with his wife. His wife is in garbage and stuff. He's in, you know, flip flops, like, you know, hoochie daddy shorts, like dirty t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? And she pushing the babies. They, you know what I'm saying? The little girl's in habit, of course. The little son, you know, he just like him with the shirts with the. So. Or pass or whatever. He was like, oh, he said, oh, that's from my country. I said, no, it's not. No, it's not. This country. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. Exactly. I'm the sheik of this country. That's how the sheiks in this country look. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
So this was not invented by you people that look like you. Like I could show you people on the wall that use dark black paint to look like, you know what I'm saying? Like to show who this was from. So you could claim it now. You know what I'm saying? The same way the Turks claimed the Fez between like 1881 and like the Ataturk, which is like the end of the 20s. After that, they outlawed it because they needed it long enough to give them the so-called respectability in the pseudo-Islamic circles before they shut it off and went secular so they could get the money. You understand what I'm saying? With the Luciferians. So that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is everybody that's not, like, if you're not in the death cult, you're with everybody else. You understand? Everybody that you know is most likely in the death cult. If you're not in it, you understand? That's why you don't get told about certain things. That's why you don't get invited to certain things. That's why you don't get told when, you know, grandma's getting sick or auntie is you know, doing drugs or stuff like that, because you're the one in the family most likely to do something about it because you're not in the death cult. Yeah. You're not going along with the way things just are. You at least gonna say something and strive to do something. And then it get to a point where you have to then become objective about the subject. You need to pull back and look at what you can bring to the situation. Sometimes clarity brings more confusion to the situation. So that's not going to help the overall situation. Like, that's why they say, like, if you know your friend's significant other is cheating, you ain't supposed to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right. Men usually don't. You know what I'm saying? They usually don't. But what men will do, they won't, but they'll dry snitch. They'll give a hint. Like, they'll be with the girl. They'll be, you know, you be with the guy will be his girl, and then he like run downstairs to get something, and then he just standing there, she with the dude's friend who know he cheating, and he say something like, "Wow, girl, you know, if you was my girl, we would really be such and such and such," or, you know, "I really hope he treating you right." And those the clues. He's letting you know, you did, but he still got to keep the code, because you know what I'm saying, he doing the same shit. That's the problem. And this is the problem. This is what I'm saying. Like, the problem starts with us.
That's the club life, yo. That's the club life. I know
that's the problem. Everybody's striving to be what they think they need to be in order to get somebody else, instead of being who they are, because they don't know who they are. Because every day they told it somebody else. Today you're a trans. Today you're a man. Tomorrow you're a dog. Today you're a furry. Today you're like whatever. So in a circumstance like that, that's like trying to build a house on sand. It's never going to work. Not to mention, once you declare that you're something like that, you've taken yourself even out of the human thing. Human's bad enough. Human already mean monster in the legal term today, right? On the metaphysical spiritual tense, we're talking about human being a light man. But by man, I'm saying the royal man, which is the woman and man, the we man. So that's different. You see, man, we're that type of human, meaning light, as we're walking. Hued light, angled and almost carbonated or rusted to this point that we're this color. You dig? So somewhere between being ultra jet black and then being this, we went through all the spectrums in between. Blue, green, red. You understand? Like all of this, to the point that it rusts into and foments into this brilliant copper color, right? That was heralded all over the world. That's when they would refer to us as that handsome race, right? But we don't know this type of stuff because, like I said, with the Mandela effect, they want us to believe that there's a group psychosis, that we saw things all at the same time in the same era that didn't happen. That could never happen. That could never, you understand what I'm saying? The odds of something like that happening are just as extreme as us being on a ball, traveling around other planets, following a sun that's moving. All of that. You see what I'm saying? But that's just as crazy as us being on like an Asgardian block in space. Like, that's crazy too.
100%.
Right. So that's crazy too. So it has to be. So the truth is in the middle somewhere.
Yes.
Instead of people understanding the middle and started trying to look at the physics of how this stuff could be, they would rather tribalize it and turn it into he's a Moor, so I'm not going to listen to anything he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Because all the Moors are Muslims, and all of the Muslims are this and this, right? Or that's just like a Moor saying, he's a Christian, so he don't really know, you know what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. However, but see, real Moors know that there's a difference between a Christian and Christianity. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Like, real Moors know there's a difference between, let's say, like a Muslim and then somebody who's like a devout Muslim, the way pale Arab people are. You know what I'm saying? That's a different mind state, because that mind state can breed and create the type of consanguinity that can get people to strap grenades to themselves and blow up things and blow up their families, right? Like, as bad as things have gotten here for melanated men and women, you have never heard and will probably never hear of a black man or woman strapping a bomb to themselves, walking into a place and blowing it up. You know why? Because we don't hate ourselves that much. We don't have that type of self. We don't have that type of self-annihilation. Our ego would not allow that. Like, do you understand the jokes that would happen after you go on somebody do some shit like that?
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Like, if we just think practically,
what you doing? You blowing yourself up.
You know, like if we just be honest.
Exactly.
Like a lot of this stuff y'all upset about, you don't even. Who cares? Like, there's no. This is me now. This is me just saying this. This is me as an individual.
Yeah.
Right? In my humble opinion, there's no deity that exists that would want me to worship it. You understand?
Yes.
Worshiping is not worshiping it would be deifying it. Deifying it would be idolizing it. Idolizing it would then be the opposite, because idolization is blasphemy. So,
but didn't the good book say that? You should have no gods before me.
Before me.
And me is me. It's talking about me.
Right. Before me. Right. And that me is you. And that you me is you. Right.
Yes.
See, that's, you get it. However, that's not what
it's preached.
Reverend McAllister is saying. Reverend McAllister and Reverend Pastor Bigfoot and these people have the opposite.
Dr. Khaled used to say Pastor Bigfoot.
Right? Pastor Bigfoot, like, he got the opposite view of it.
Yeah.
Because everything that you, which is me, are, is internally. So I naturally do it. Like I was talking to my wife about this the other day, because we're real into, you know, we can't, you know, well, I'm a Moor. So as a Moor, you know, I'm into astrology and, you know, all of these old, so-called old Moorish arts. Right. However, at 50, I'm getting to the understanding of it that, okay, I've kind of gone through like a lot of this stuff. And in the end, none of these things came out and said that they were the absolute, right? The absolute of what we would consider God. So if this thing that exists without me, I exist within it. Therefore, I am a part of it, and it is a part of me. Yet it is the highest level that I can subscribe to be as me, post me. So even after me in the human form, the me that was not human, that's just the energy aspect of it, is still there in that thing that we refer to as it, God, whatever you want to say.
Right.
So there's nothing that I could do to harm it, to communicate with it. The only way I can do that is by going within me and understanding how it exists within me. In more science, they say that Allah exists in the heart. Right. We also know that Allah, in let's say the 5%, is the arm, leg, arm, head. So we're talking about the human visage.
That's right.
Right? That all things are based on. So that's eternal. That's the temple. That's the Moorish where my science exists. That's the Moorish science that my temple exists in America.
Right.
Understand?
Yes.
The physical brick and mortar building that exists is for where others who have the same understanding go to, again, fellowship. And by that, I'm talking about fellowship without Freemasonry and none of that. I'm talking about like families and all of that together. And building, and men building on like real business on how to make things happen for the temple, for the people. That's the temple, not the charter, not the thing. Those are the things that give you the authority to say that you can or cannot do certain things. However, if those things didn't exist, could you still be doing the things that you would do? And that's the test that comes from that. The titles is nothing. The headdresses and stuff is nothing. Has your message veered off, or has it intensified as you have been doing this?
Right.
Because some of these guys came in one thing and then they leave on another. You dig what I'm saying? and they don't enhance or try to expand on what their core value is. And that's where we get caught up, and that's where you become vulnerable, because on the edge of the mind is where it can be influenced. You understand? On the fringe is where it could be influenced, because at one time we was the fringe. Right. You understand? Like I remember doing lectures where it was 2 people.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? In
a
room like this, like not even this big. Like,
that's right.
I remember, waking up early, going down to the community center, because I know the people's gonna be there. This is elders, so you know what I'm saying. They up early. They already there.
That's right.
So I gotta do this. I'm not making no bread and all of that from that.
That's right.
But it was based upon the timing, you dig, and then from there, watching it expand into videotapes and then becoming a part of that pantheon was great. However, what I learned learning is that you are the food for the divinity that you worship. So if you're going to feed on somebody, it better be yourself. It better be something that you can tangibly stand on, because when you place the energy into those that are doing it for the basis of the propaganda, then you are now a part of the operation that they're inflicting on the people.
That's right.
So upon understanding that may force you to have to not do that lecture, not take that money, not show up to that event. Listen to your queen when she say, yo, I don't like that dude. Things like that, like trusting the intuition. We're not just doing this knowledge stuff to be smart. We striving to enhance our lives and teach our children, or allow our children to not be conscious if they don't want.
Right.
Who's strong enough to do that? Like, people would think that me, like, I'm like this on my children with that. However, my first 2, the stuff I went with them, I only had the first maybe 10 years to instill, you know what I'm saying, what I felt I could, based on knowledge and stuff like that. You did? Because the people I had it with decided, oh, well, I'm not feeling this no more. I'm going to be this. And you understand? And now everything has to switch this way. But that's not fair to them, because that's not the environment that they came in on. I had knowledge of self when I made these humans.
And I said that's where that classic lecture, Family Court Exposed, came out. If you remember.
Thank you. Yes, you got it. Wow.
I still got it.
That's crazy.
That's what we produced together in 2007 at the Elks Plaza.
At the Elks Plaza.
Yes, sir. That's in my family. That's in my book. If y'all want to get it, it's all. I talk about all of that stuff because it's called no promotion. I'm gonna send you a copy. I said, don't worry.
Please do, man.
Yeah, because you my brother. You know how you and your name is. I acknowledge y'all in the book. You and your wife in the book.
Oh, it's wrong. I'm a reader.
So but I wrote this in 2012. And a lot of people don't know.
Right, when I did Oscar 418, right?
Exactly, when you wrote that book. That's right, because you was one of the people that inspired me to write also. So it's not just you. Other people. But one more before, I don't want to keep you too late. I know we're going out. You have any more questions? I'm going to ask a question. If you have any more questions, Kerry-Ann?
Yeah, it's up to you, sis. I'm okay. So it's up to y'all.
I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask one more question. A question for my.
It's up to y'all. I'm good.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I saw a whole bunch of questions in the audience, so maybe we can.
Okay. Let me ask my question before I go to that. So I know with the propaganda, brother. A lot. How can we offset what is going on as far as the propaganda of destroying man and woman's unity? The melanated man and woman, because there's a lot of bickering, a lot of argument, a lot of gurus out there getting caught out there all of a sudden that they're not really what they're professing as a guru. You know what I'm saying? They really going in.
As I said, more like I watch these guys, I watch these people rise from nothing. Like the first 7 years of Blog Talk, like if people was to go back to Blog Talk Radio, Sudan Radio, and listen to those broadcasts.
Yep.
You would hear the entire thing up at that time, from where we was going through, what we were witnessing, what we was experiencing, who was boiler blocking, who was gatekeeping, who, you know what I mean? All of that. It was all in that. And in the process of that, I realized that I couldn't, like, I had to be very careful as to like what pictures and like who I'm around, like this type. When I started getting to that level, it was like, okay, this is definitely something else going on. And this was around the time, to me, it was in the decline. This was after the Bambaataa Bambaataa's attempt to try to start like a fake Moorish movement. We shut that.
You spoke at that event. I remember that.
We shut that down, and they buried the tape after that. So ain't nobody seen that tape since it happened. And that was because of, you know, I was like, nah, you're not gonna, this is not gonna go down. So we shut that down, and then from there, that's when my low-key blacklist started. And it wasn't anything that was said. It was just like, it was a lot of like really whack stuff that was happening. So to not focus on that and to focus more on, you know what I'm saying, my family, my vision,
that was important,
creativity. I realized I don't have to be around any of these, like, really, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of y'all are not doing this because you really want to do this. You're doing this as a springboard to some other shit. You're doing this to meet certain people, to then make that agreement, get that tap on the shoulder, so that way you can go to that lodge and, you know what I mean, make it happen. And that's cool. You dig? Was never that. And unfortunately, the way that the propaganda in the community began, it came through the guise of communication through debating and communication through this. Whereas a lot of people's dirty laundry and stuff that they were dealing with, that had nothing to do with the message and the thing they were building on. So when people started becoming personal, started bringing personal shit into it, that's when it started coming off like battle rap. And that's when it started to become a situation where people are looking to make names off of other people.
Right.
And me at the time, and still now, you know what I mean, constantly being approached by these type of people to sit down with this one and do that one and all that. And it's like, nah, I can't. I realize I can't even be, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they reaching out to me for your number. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, God. Like,
I tell people, yo, Aseer ain't interested in that bull crap.
Right. And you know,
I have to be a buffer. I have to be a buffer sometimes. Like, yo.
You know, I appreciate it. Because in the end, I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings or say that I'm better than anybody.
Exactly.
Or strive to say that I'm the end all to be all. What I am, though, is, again, discerning. And I go with my intuition and my assessment. Because that's the one thing that's kept me from being involved in any of these controversies with any of these groups or any of these people. You ain't never seen my name or me associated, none of that. And like a picture with a dude at an event, like whatever, 20 years ago, has nothing to do, especially if you've never seen me with any of these people or like that from that, for these specific reasons. Because I saw early, okay, this dude got a predilection for little girls and stuff.
Yeah.
So how am I going to navigate around that? You know what I mean? And not have to be this. So I put it out there how I put it out there. You dig? Right. But I'm also not the type to go over there and then go tell people shit based on what I heard, because man knows not from being told. So it's this constant balance of taking information, discerning it, washing it, cleaning it, seeing if it's good, and then not saying nothing on it still, and waiting and seeing what it's going to be with this person or this information or this organization or this movement or this agenda or this money thing or whatever. It's always some stuff like that. And unfortunately, in striving not to be a part of that, by striving only to strive to get compensated for what I do. And
I commend y'all. I commend y'all for that.
And all that. Like, no, if I'm dealing with you, then I have something to share with you, whether it's a product, whether it's a video, whether it's a book, whether it's a whatever, something like that. Or
I I say I commend y'all for that, because y'all stepped to me and was very disturbed about what was going on. Y'all told me
it was bugged out, and like I said, like it was low key assassination attempts. Like it's like if I was to write a book, we was to write a book on it, it would be crazy. But at the same time, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, I could do that, but that would be thing. Maybe I'll do it as a graphic novel or a movie or a whatever, like, or maybe I won't, because there's also an element of it where we also have to understand that things happen at a time and will always happen within that time. And there's nothing that I could do now, you see what I'm saying, to stop that from creating the circumstance that give me the opinion about it now. I can only
keep on doing your work
from it, right? Glean the best from it and strive not to make it the reason I'm like this. Like, I never want to be the type of person to be, oh, well, the reason I'm like this is I'm like that. That's how black men and so-called black women are. Well, the reason I did this was because she did that. And we're all victims of that. I've done it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Women have done it to me. People have done it to you. But in the end, we're doing it, and that's the real issue. And we're doing it from a lack of like you said, discernment and self identification.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want so to be included and want so to be liked. Mm-hmm. Because that is what keeps us alive. Like these instincts and things don't make us weak. These are the things that allowed us to exist as a species for hundreds of millions of years. Like, we're supposed to want people to like us. We're supposed to want to be friends with people. However, if you constantly trying to do that and you find yourself constantly being taken advantage of by these people, then it may be the type of people you're around, or you may be a horrible judge of people. It's going to be one or the other.
That part.
So once you figure it out, you don't have to go through that no more. You have now a better class of people, or not. You become so self-sufficient. You don't even need to be going out and chilling and doing all this type of stuff that some people really need. Some humans really need it, to the point if they don't have it, they'll delete themselves.
Yep.
You don't never want to be that type of human.
Yep. And I say you don't mind taking a few questions from the chat?
Yes, okay.
At the top of the hour. Did you have any more questions, Sister Kerry-Ann? Did you have any more questions, or you want me to take the questions online?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to one brother, El Bruno. He says, Brother Aseer, in what ways could I get more in tune with the vibration of the mountains near me? Good question. I'm in the mountains myself, so I understand.
If you can walk to the top of whatever mountain, barefooted, you know what I'm saying? Or as you do the whole summit, and then as you get closer to the summit, take your shoes off and actually do it barefooted, you're going to receive more of the electromagnetic energy coming from it into the summit of the actual apex, because that mountain is most likely a pyramid or a mound or some sort of structure or a dead giant that's been decomposed into such that its body has now filaminated and become impregnable limestone, or impressionable limestone.
Wait. Say that again. A dead giant?
Yeah, dead entities. Giant. We'll call them giants. Some people call them Nephilims. Some people call them Titans, Titanothropes.
Because Stone Mountain is a quartz crystal. I'm on Stone Mountain. That's a quartz crystal. That's a crystal.
Right, but that crystal could have been in somebody's head, is what I'm trying to say. Like, that whole mountain itself could be upon your organ. You understand? That's how big these things were. Like, these things are huge, and they became the literal ground that we walk on. And these things were so huge and so colossal and so mammoth and thing that they wouldn't even see their feet for years. Like, this is the type of things we were dealing with. So when these things went after the great destruction, and these things were now calcified because they didn't have a higher carbon content, They have more of a, what you call it, I forget the element, but it's an element that allows them to petrify. You know what I'm saying? When they hit with water. And that water was why they were so, it happened in such a way where it was like they were able to almost be frozen in thing, kind of like with the vampires. It's the same type of thing. It's the absence of the hemoglobin that stops the body and the blood from sustaining itself, from reproducing itself. So it's a deficiency in that. That deficiency is similar to the deficiency in stuff like sickle cell. You know what I mean? Why only certain of us have it, because that was most likely the gene that was taken out of that bloodline that was not given to these things that had to find a way to exist. So they have our form, but the genetic makeup of them is more animalistic. This is the Rh negative recessive DNA stuff and all of that. But again, that doesn't necessarily make them what they are. When you incarnate in this realm, the beauty of it is that you can rise above the station that you're given. And that redemption is for everyone. You know what I'm saying? The devil included. He's never going to take it.
That's true.
The devil can never be reformed, but it doesn't mean that the redemption and the forgiveness is there. However, if we are enslaved to the presumptive idea of idol worship through accepting the deity, right, as the evidence, when the evidence of the deity came to us through other people, right, and that these deities and these things were leftover entities from a time that was already supposed to be destroyed, like Moloch, Baal, Ishtar, Attis, Diana. We're not even supposed to remember these things. You understand? You're not even supposed to have no knowledge of it. So when Bobby was talking about these things, you have to understand these things were abominations. Yeah. These things were made in an inferior fashion where they were basically products of celestial rape, consensual and non-consensual rape, because these things, if you go by the story, came down here and they were supposed to look out for the man, i.e. man and woman, but decided to have babies with the females because they lusted after them. Why? Because when you come to third density, you could be the greatest star conqueror ever, but once that baby brain come on you, you forget all of what your true purpose is, and then you got to go through things to figure it out. So these niggas had to go through now impregnating the daughters of men. The daughters of men now give birth to these Nephilim. These Nephilims give birth to these giants. These giants do genetic sequencing, start creating zoomorphic giants, and all of them now is under these grand titans that are so huge, so astronomical, that they have their own existence, that they are now existing, but what we would perceive as the divine spark, that was not what it was meant for. However, it let it happen. So as it happened, it had to unfold. However it unfolded, we came out on top. And as the ones on top, we inherited all of it and found ways to mine these things and use the actual bodies as resources to make cities out of them, to make whole civilizations and stuff from that stuff. But it got to the point now where the stuff they teaching us is turning us into crazy people. And now we start worshiping them, having babies with them, creating these zoomorphic figures. Then these zoomorphic fake gods try to make themselves like they the real God. Now they creating political strife. They ruling the government, creating bloodlines, right? None of this is supposed to happen. But what happens? We got to figure it out. So we do. We shut it all down. We go with the reset, wash them away, right?
Start of the game.
Everything. Strive to do right. But what happened? This nigga dude Adam, according to the story, he gets upset when they get kicked out, and then he spent 130 years with Lilith. And now this is where we get Ishtar and Baal and Moloch, and then eventually Nimapishtim and Upapishtim, which is Gilgamesh, which is Noah, and all of the rest of these people, right? And all of these things and all of these stories, these Zeus Olympian gods, and so none of these things not only was supposed to exist, was made in the image of that which allegedly created all. So therefore they would all have to fall, which is why we're here and they're not in the light. So what happens is now they have to find a way to exist, because once they're gone, they can't go to the higher realm because they're not really from there. They can't go to the lower realm, they're not really from there. So what happened? They gotta stay here. They gotta girdle this place as disembodied spirits, as non-incorporated entities. And then the way that they exist and come back is through things like, oh, this one is praying to this. Oh, well, I'll appear as this to them. You see what I'm saying? Because now this makes me in. And the more they call me down, the more I can possess this person, the more I can become this person, and eventually urge them to get around other people who are my devotees. And now they're going to get together in church. Now they're going to get together in the mosque. Now they're going to get together in the temple. Now they're going to get together in the Capitol building. You see what I'm saying? But these are entities that's running these people. We're the only ones that's remembering that this is how all of this happened up until now. So they done made everything fiction that was actually true. And so these centaurs and these half moon and these half creatures and stuff, that's all vampires and lupines. And they still genetically trying to create them, right? To get us to accept them. So they make nice, great movies like The Lost Boys and Blade, and right? So we accept it. We accept the possibility of it being real because we create the reality through our perception of it. Therefore, it's real. And
I said you used to break down the movies all the time, man. You used to break down. You, Bobby, Phil. I mean, now KT is doing it, and a lot of people is doing it. But y'all been going in on movies since from the cartoons to all the comic book characters.
Yes,
you know.
And I told her when I started it back then in the original series, Science of Superheroes, which would be on the app.
I have that DVD. I have the DVD. I told
people they're going to literally turn the superhero thing into mainstream, where everybody now is literally going to be a character in a superhero story. And that's when they started coming out with superhero names for these serial killers, like Ishmael Axe, the Virginia Tech dude. Then what's his name? They just started to centralize it all to the point where, like I said, now they all suck because they attack masculinity to the point where men have literally checked out of being men. And those of us that haven't understand that the boundaries exist now where it's going to have to come from another thing. Like 2 years ago, there were hundreds of so-called male rappers. It seemed like they killed all of them so that way they could bring about this new era of this new thing. So now they need more females in prison, obviously. So they're going to breed a whole new prison culture. And because, unfortunately, real so-called women can have sympathy or identify with the so-called lascivious type of woman, right? The man can't tell the difference anymore. So a woman who's married and be chilling and all of that, she'll be with a woman who's not married, who's very promiscuous, is urging her every night to go out on this dude. You understand? If a guy is chilling with a guy that's like that, his girl is going to let him know, like, this dude is wild. Like, I'm not really feeling this dude, blah, blah, blah. The guy, though, you see what I'm saying? If he say something, hey, about your girl, hey, I feel like she's this and that, she tend to look at him sideways, you see? Because we are wired different. With me and this man, I know that there's always like what Kevin Samuel said, there's always a certain subtle level of violence. So we have to keep it cordial, or else we getting into some heavy stuff that we may not want to die today. Whereas the female, she's never had to make that assessment in reality. You understand? If she feels threatened, then she's threatened. You understand? And she'll attack her and then be like, well, no, she attacked me. No, she didn't. She just threatened you, but you felt that way, you see? And thus you acted on it. And that's what they want females to do. So that's why everything is being propagandized to get the so-called original woman to believe that she can do everything. They want her to believe that she is her own species on her own pedestal that all other beings should genuflect to the point where they have made her God. But I just told you, God don't get help. You understand? So it's another form of what? Isolation. Another form of what? Degradation. Another form of what? Self-immolation. Another form of what? Making her vulnerable enough to accept anything because she has chased away the one that is her natural protector.
That part.
Naturally, if I see a so-called original woman and she's being attacked or whatever, naturally, I would want to help.
Exactly.
However,
me too.
However, at the same token, I have a so-called Black woman that I got to make it home to. I have a child or an elder children that I have to still be responsible for. And I don't know, based upon this present climate of female, if this person is not mentally ill, if she's not under the slut rap mind virus that has infected all of these females to the point that if you say something, you could be a female. Look at what they did to India Irie, man. Yep. Look at what they just tried to do to Nikki D.
I just met India Irie too. Very beautiful sister. Very nice.
Wrong. This is a veteran of the game. They brought her in when they couldn't control Erykah Badu. That's what that was all about. They brought her in to replace her because Erykah was like, no, I'm gonna have all these niggas babies. Like whatever. Right. And boom, I can't control her. K-Don Massenberg or whoever it was couldn't control her. But where did K-Don Massenberg come from? He came from Dr. York.
That's his nephew. Keaton. That's his nephew. Keaton, because him and I went to Erasmus. Him and I went to Erasmus Hall.
But
that's
he was smart enough to go with Massenberg and not York.
Exactly.
So everybody's playing the game. Everybody's acting like they something that they not in order to get something that they know that they should have had because they don't have the talent. And that's what it boiled down to. Our generation was the generation with the talent. Our generation was the generation of the innovation. Our generation was the generation of proactive movement. We were the first generation that was about get money. We was the generation that was about like, if it's not real, if that's not your rhymes and you're saying somebody rhymes, you're getting smacked up. We was the generation that was like, no, you can't copy her. You can't copy him. No, we was the generation was like, you're a winner, you're a loser. That's it. And our generation, again, was the generation that gave birth to all of that. But what happened? Our generation, these niggas got lazy and they sold out. It started with the movement, with the rap movement, and they made it the quick way to do it. It became the new drug hustle. Get into music. So,
doesn't this also tie in with the reality television phenomena where there was male in the reality realm as well, but the majority of the popular reality television shows are with women. And the popular one had a lot of melanated women, and the fighting, it was all about the drama and the fighting and just pitting us against each other. So we see this portrayed on TV, then we start to regurgitate that in our everyday life, and it becomes a norm. And so we expect that from each other. The language that I used to hear is, women don't get along, you can't work with them, they're antagonistic. Where did that come from?
It came from women.
That's where it comes from. The feminist movement.
The first person I ever heard use the term bitch in a derogatory against the woman was my grandmother. Bless her. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was harder on a woman than her, and she had mad women friends. And so but I'm not special. That's where most so-called Black males understand and get that from, believe it or not. And so we have to discern everything that comes from our mothers, whether wrong or right. And I give thanks that they've been able to hold it together this long. Like Black women only started going crazy at the end of 2000. You know what I'm saying? Like at one point, like they just dating outside their race like that heavy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just now sporting white boys like they really like them like that and shit like that. Like they you know what I mean? Like they trying to keep up with the Joneses in the
they used to have to go, the celebrities had to go to Paris and France to do all of that.
They still do. They don't.
You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, Eartha Kitt and Dorothy Dandridge and all these people.
That was only because these high yelling niggas, excuse my language, was too not real to marry these females. Why wouldn't you marry Eartha Kitt, Harry Belafonte? You having sex with her?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you be with her? What's wrong with her? What make her different than this white woman? Why wouldn't you marry Diane Carroll, James Earl Jones? What the hell? Why wouldn't you marry James Earl Jones, Diana Carroll? You understand?
And why would Miles Davis abuse Cicely Tyson?
Right. But then
why not love her?
But then
why not love her?
All the passes. Why? Cause Fame light skin. This is how these niggas think. But where do we get that from? We get that from our mothers, bro. We do. Our mothers are the first ones we see change themselves to go outside and be who they feel they need to be. She in it with the same way the little girl is sitting there watching her put on the makeup and be this. Same way the little boy is sitting there watching his mother put on this makeup, talking to her and all of that, and watching her physically change.
That's interesting.
It's true.
Yeah.
And we subtly notice this. So there's a part of us that always knows that she got two faces. You understand? But we can't put our finger on that because we don't have a daddy to say and to discern that to us. You understand? So we figuring all of this stuff out. So it's a wonder. There's not more so-called effeminate men, gay men, and all of that that's raised by these people anyway. Because a lot of these females, mothers, mine included stuff, were hurt.
Yeah.
But they were hurt because they bought into a lie the generation before, because they saw Malcolm get killed. They saw Michael get killed. Bobby, Medgar, Jack. They saw everybody get wiped out. Jimmy, Janice. Yep. They was involved with all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Or they saw all these niggas get strung out by the end of 69. So by 70, they've been on the run. Their movements is broken. Their leaders is dead. They still can't do drugs and stuff legally and all of that. Still can't get work. What you think gonna happen? They're gonna degenerate into whatever the third density is gonna give them. And that's what they did. They said, well, at least the government will give me money. I can't depend on him because he on dope. He just came back from Vietnam.
Yeah.
He waking up with cold sweats, choking me to death. I gotta go.
Yep.
But then at the same time, he's thinking, another guy's thinking, yeah, I done gave this woman everything. I'm marrying her, but now I can't get her off the track. I'm trying to make a good woman out of her, give her home, all of that. But she's been so institutionalized in the track, she can't stop. So what are we supposed to do with that? So we're the generation that came from that. We came from that and the blackout. And what do? We created hip hop. So we could talk about it. Right? And then we created a $1 billion industry. Right? And what happened? By the time we really had control of it, niggas started selling it out. And we've been messed up ever since. As they say, as Kanye said with crack music, we've been Merrill Lynched ever since because we have put our power and encouragement and adoration into morally bankrupt people. You understand? Who don't have the integrity enough not to take the money, not to make you look like an animal. So when you go to other countries, they always waiting for you to drop it like it's hot and twerk and have a blonde weave and have cumbrellas, because that's what those
he said cumbrellas.
I'm serious. That's what they're patented as. I'm serious.
Are you serious?
I'm totally serious.
Of course he is.
The whore that patented that was a prostitute in London. And she got tired of her girls getting pink eye and syphilis in the eyes and going blind. So she invented a coil by picking out. The first one she did was with cat hair. Then she ironed them and stuff and got them glued on with horse glue. And when the person, you know, did his thing, the Cumbrellas would catch it. Wow. And thus she made a lot of money off of that. And then the white man, as usual, decided he can make money off of that. Just like blonde hair. The reason why blonde hair is usually worn is because of how they did in Rome. Because when Rome invaded Gaul, a lot of the kings in Gaul, the females, they were like in the early Gaul now. I'm talking about like Etruscan days and all that. When the Romans found them conquering them, a lot of them was like what you would consider like Australian type. They were like black, but they had like blondish hair kind of. Right? And so they would regale them, and they would kill all the men, and they regaled the women to slavery. So it became a thing in Rome that the females, that the prostitutes would be these women from Gaul, and you would know them for their blonde hair. So after a while, because the whores from Gaul with the blonde hair was getting so much attention, the Roman noble class women, they wanted to have blonde hair too. So they was going and getting those Bessie cows, those brown cows with the hair, and they would shave them, and then they would put the blonde hair on, to the point that the Romans had to make a law that Roman-born women who were not prostitutes could not dye their hair blonde. Wow. But eventually they had to repeal it because the emperor's wife decided she wanted to have blonde hair.
Wait, so, isn't this the same as the style of hair dress and the bodice, the form?
Yeah,
it was emulation.
Yeah, Sarah Bartman, aka what's her name? They turned her into a prostitute and then cut up every part of her body and put her on display in the Louvre. Wow. Allegedly one time, but that's Lizzo. Like that's Lizzo today. You understand what I'm saying? So they like that's literally probably her. They probably like took some of that DNA and, you know, gave it to the mother. Like you don't know any of these people until they blow up on TV one day. You know how many millionaire artists exist that you don't know about right now, but they got thousands of people at their concerts? Because I'm not on that frequency. That don't mean that they're not successful though. But that also don't mean that they're not the ops. You understand what I'm saying? And all of these people, like, what's the irony that Lizzo would be sued for discriminating against fat people? This is what I'm saying about the little Masonic tricks, the little rituals that they do in people's face. And these people allow themselves to be the little skelly, the little chess pieces that allow these dim-witted people to use them like that. Like that whole Will Smith thing with the smack and all that, that's all fake. Like if you go to my Facebook page now, I see Ali Cordoba, the actual show that it's taken from, I posted it on there. And it's word for word the same happening. So all of these people, you understand, are liars. So why would we expect liars to have our best interest? Because what that means is so long as there's a script in front of them, they'll do anything. And if somebody will do anything, that means that there's nothing that they won't do. And that's a problem.
Man, family, we have the one, the only. Woo! We are, man, brother, we are an hour and a half in. I'm not going to keep you, but I do want to make sure we show your websites. Of course, somebody asked about your skin, and I'm going to put up Cordoba Organics because that's.
Yeah, I look like this due to, like I said,
why you looking like that?
Being with the same person, the same woman for all these years, you know, I'm thankful to her.
I love that.
Yes, man, let's get that a round of applause.
Yes.
Let me get that website up. Y'all don't know, this brother is authentic, been 100%, 1,000% with me since we met the first time when they was on their bikes.
Remember, we was low riding it. We had
low riding, yeah. And
we was out here killing it in Brooklyn.
That's right.
And, I mean, like that news of that and those videos in that time spread to such a degree that we didn't even know. So once it started getting to the point where people calling me from different countries and, you know, writing me about this and then, you know, sending me information and pictures of different places that I've spoken about. And, you know, it all helped me validate and verify even more the stuff we was doing to the point that it is now where the people have been our main supporters. And so when YouTube shuts down, my monetization, it's the people through donations, through things like that, that I'm able to, still go out here. But even if still, YouTube is always just another vehicle, another labor of love that you're not going to get the most out. But I would say, however, within that, I'm able to communicate and build with so many more people that now having the Rumble and now eventually now using the app, I now have my own portal. So they can't really do me the way that they've been doing. So in that, I have more of a vehicle to help promote, healthy living, equitable living. These things, mean something. And now as we're moving into, I did a lecture called Red China Rise in World War V. Now we're moving into that. That was held by Brother Aseer, Rest the Dead, another titan in the game. He put on that lecture. I have that. I'm gonna have that on the app as well. And on that lecture, I laid out how they was going to do it. And in that, now that it's all starting to come to pass, other people are now saying, "Yo, I'm really seeing like this is not just about the physical aspect. This is about us as a species understanding our place and everybody going under their own vine and fig tree." Ukraine is over. That's already done. Zelensky, you don't got to worry about that. That's over. Zelensky is begging for money and credit. So he about to get murked, and all of that's about to go to Russia because now they on to Israel. But the one that you need to pay attention to is the Taiwan. Once China start dealing with the Taiwan thing, that is what's going to be the issue. The only reason why they have it is because Taiwan has the patent for all of the super processor microchips and stuff. So the US has been putting out low-key sorties to stop them from purchasing them from Taiwan. You understand? So this war in Israel and Palestine, that's really the real thing. We're talking about two competing pipelines. One pipeline that's being run by the BRICS, the other pipeline that's being run by the Axis people. So the pipeline they want to run is based on all the gas deposits they got under Gaza, because they're trying to run a pipeline all the way from Morocco, all the way through Lebanon, all of that. So the last holdout is Iran. You see, and that's a problem. So they need that to be bulldozed so they could run the last part of the pipe through Iran. Iran ain't going to have that. Instead, Iran is backing the product, the BRICS pipeline through China. You understand? And so that's going to be a problem. So ultimately, while all that's happening, our brother Traore, in I believe that's his name, Traore or whatever his name is in Niger, he is on the way of making Niger the fourth largest growing economy by next year. So by 2024, Niger is going to be the fourth highest economy in the world, just by him taking control of the uranium, kicking out the puppet Negro sellout African agent, and putting a premium on the uranium extraction. So that is now forcing ECOWAS, which is the puppet of France, United States, Britain, Israel, to now try to figure out a way to get in there. But they're not going to be able to do that. So the only way is for them to be able to rearm the Boko Haram and these fake CIA-based, Muslim-based Brotherhood terrorist organizations funded by France and the Foreign Legion. So that's not going to work. And because Mali and Burkina Faso are now going to create a new ECOWAS. And what that's going to do is create a new chamber of commerce that all the other West African nations are going to be down with. That Morocco eventually will have to step away from its agreement with Saudi Arabia if it wants to have stability in the region. Also, Morocco is going to be a superpower in another 5-6 years when the food thing go crazy and they don't have enough phosphates. Morocco, the Kingdom of Morocco, has a lot of phosphate that they can use to be able to seed to other countries. So that's going to give them more political sway. So that's going to make us here in this country, Moorish Americans, people who understand that type of it. This is where prophecies like they're not going to be able to do business but through the Asiatics and stuff. This is where this comes in. because we already got prophecies about the brothers, so-called brothers from the East, come on over here and helping reestablish a constitutional republic. Whether that's true or not, I don't even think it's important. It even matters. The point is, it's potentially true. So we have to govern ourselves accordingly and move towards an octave that allows you to take advantage of it without being subject to it. And that's it.
Wow.
That's
Yo. So sometimes you just gotta let Aseer roll, baby.
No, the gems just keep. I'm like, oh my God, do we have to end? Oh, you gotta come back. You must come back.
See, brothers like him and Bobby and Paddock and and sisters like Joe.
That's why their lectures went so long, right?
Honestly,
remember, we used to go to Phil Valentine's house and he have a whole 12 hours.
12 hours, 9 hours.
We was the babies over there watching it.
That was the thing. And that's what I'm saying. Like that whole element of community, people can feel that when you watch these old videos and stuff. Because they were great, and there was none of this gender stuff they want to bring into the movement now. That wasn't like that, B. I mean, there may have been gender issues within different individual groups, but when it came to actually people coming to speak it, the same people that was at Bobby lecture, was at Jewel Poopum lecture, was at Francis West Wilson lecture, was at Shahrazad Ali lecture. Like there was none of that. Right. There was more men supporting them than women. You know what I'm saying? All the females I mentioned, there was more men supporting them a lot of times than women, because a lot of women were also coming out of the church. So a lot of them was not really understanding like the nuances of that. So they looking at it like, oh, this chick might take my man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not even like
a lot of petty stuff.
Yes. A lot of petty shit, because we all still waking up. You got to look at it like this.
Wow.
The apocalypse, right, which is the awakening or the destruction, may have already happened. We may already be people in the post-apocalyptic world, because like I said, we was building structures out of people. We're creating and recycling stuff that's already here. We haven't created really anything new, because you can't come out of this closed system. You can only go inward.
Yes.
And you go inward to it, now you get to the so-called outer space where the extra terror is at. See what I'm saying? But if you think that this is all it is, then you're going to be that little grid. And that's the thing, guys. We may be the living zombies in the post-apocalyptic world already. And thus, what we perceive as this as already thing is really just what it looks like after the real civilizations had already collapsed. So we now have the ability to do what we want.
That makes sense. You know, I could see that because of how Tartaria used to look.
Right.
Like, what? We can't build like that. No architect in this era can build like that.
Right. Because once they cut down the trees, it lowered the oxygen count, and the megafauna could not exist anymore. So any megafauna areas like the great redwoods or the giant bamboo trees, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, or the giant willow tree, that's evidence of the megafauna. But a lot of these mountains are tree stumps now. But once those megalithic structures and trees and organic oxygen producers were gone, it shrunk the people, because we're not breathing in that extra pure you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're now getting the dilated aspect of it from all of the trees that survived the apocalypse.
Wow.
So we are the so-called futurists that are going to project whatever this reality is into the fifth dimension, because spiritually we're already there. We just got to catch up to ourselves by not taking all of the emotional baggage of this reality with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So love yourself, man. Love your people. Stop hating everybody.
Yes.
Let's support each other. Let's understand that whether you're Moor or Aborigine or whatever, what Hebrew, whatever it is, in the end, we existed before all of that existed as this.
Yes.
So there's never a point that we didn't exist in that. So there's no reason to look beyond that, which you are. Because if you believe something, you don't know it.
Yeah.
But if you know it, you don't gotta believe it. You know what I'm saying? So
My brother.
love,
That's
man.
Love you, man. Love all the time, man. And I give everybody a hug. Of course, Amor. I can't wait till he start lecturing and teaching too. I know Amor gonna be teaching. He a Leo. He gonna teach.
He gonna be doing something, man.
You know he gonna do something. No, he gonna do it. But I love you, man. Be safe, man.
Love
Thank you very much, bro.
Thank you so much.
Man, woo. My brother Aseer, the Duke of Tea. Man,
you know some incredible people.
Yeah, we now know some incredible people. See that? See, I always include everybody as the we, because I know it was important for just to see you engaged in that wisdom with him, and especially coming from out of Toronto, Canada, and a lot of y'all don't even get those type of people up there in Toronto.
No, we don't.
Yeah, and I heard 19 Keys was just up there too. I heard he was just there. Did you get to go? You didn't go. No, you stand to yourself. You ain't going up there. I know that was a big crowd. You know that must have been a whole. And sometimes it can overwhelm people. Those crowds that they pull, like him, it can overwhelm a lot of people. I've been in those audience. I've been an MC for a lot of those events, and if you can, I've seen people get carried out to get some air at events that, like Dr. Sabi events or something that had a lot of people that came in, and we, and even reggae events that I used to do. But when you have people like Aseer that has always, as far as I'm concerned, have packed the house with the wisdom that he has to share, but yet everybody understands it from a multi-level understanding and understanding. People like him is to be cherished. People like him are to be supported. Like he said, his website. This is all his website. Yes. This is his Cash App. This is PayPal right here. This is his YouTube channel. Go subscribe to Facebook and his
support. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm just like passionate. Like I've seen him before over the years, but I sat down and uninterruptedly, like I turned off my phone to watch one of his latest videos to see what he was speaking about, and it's deep. But like I was like taking notes, like it's so much information, and when you go cross check the information, all true, all facts. Like he's well versed and so knowledgeable, and it comes from such a beautiful place. You could feel that, and like it's so beautiful to meet him after meeting his wife, because like I could see their beautiful union. It's so beautiful and inspirational. Like
And both of them born on the 22nd, which is powerful. Just to see those 22s come together and make 44. You know what I'm saying? Just to see that's a foundation and a dedication number. When I used to do consultations for couples, I would always put the personality numbers and add them. And if I subtract them, it lets me know what they need to work on. When I add them, it tells me what they can accomplish in the adding. So when you see a person born on the 22nd, another person born on the 22nd, either 44, which deals with that 8 energy, it's money, power, but it's also an old soul coming together. But 44 in numerology is the number of dedication, dedicating to the masterful building of the unification of structure within the self and outside of the self. When you see those two together, why they've defended each other so much, they have and he listens to his wife. He listens. When she says nay, he's not doing it. When she says yay, he's going. And when they said yay, I'm going to Florida, and they moved down to Florida and said nay, I'm not dealing with the rest of these Negroes.
Because he understands her intuitive side and how strong a woman's intuition is.
Exactly. And it only helps enhance a man's intuition. Because we all got female and masculine inside of us.
Yeah.
So so let me go to his page real quick, his website real quick, so we can see what it says here. He's a doctor of jurisprudence. He's a doctor of he's a metaphysics, astrologer, life coach, and a columnist, musician, founder of Superhero Radio, lecturer, creator, healer, and tarot interpreter. Notice he ain't saying reader. He says interpreter.
I like that. I think I'm going to use that. There's two things I pulled from him. He said, we men. I'm like, yes, that aligns with my soul. We men.
We men. Right. I mean, it's powerful to sit down with people like him. And like I said, Jewel Program, I'm going to reach out to her again so we can see if we can get her on, because I know Jewel knows me and I've broken down her birthday right in front of her eyes. So she knows me from that perspective. Again, let me just know that, support the brother and support the products that makes him and his wife look so youthful. Here it is. Let me show that website real quick. Cordoba Organics. That's the beautiful Empress and him. Both. You think he don't help her with her products? Yes, they help each other. They gotta help each other in what they're doing and how they're doing. So look at the products. Go to Cordoba Organics, and you want to find out. They got face products. They got the facial products on there. They got the body care products, facial products, hair products. All about us. Even the ingredients, and they don't have to put their ingredients on there, but because she is they have so much integrity that they put the ingredients on there to show you they ain't afraid of you coming to do and mass produce it yourself, because you got to have the spirit and the energy to produce something that's going to work. If you're just doing it for a minute, it's not going to work. I'm telling you right now. We do it like Chronix used to say or sing. He do it for the love. He don't do it for the likes. They do it for the love. They don't do it for the likes. That's why they don't mind if they get their channel taken down, although it helps. It's helpful that their channel helps, but you got to realize we do it for the love. We don't do what we do, what you and I do. We do it for the love. We don't do it for the likes. I've been doing this I've been promoting since I was 12 years old, become conscious since I was 14. I've been doing it for the love because there wasn't no money made in the beginning. Yeah. I have to do it for the love. It's just natural for me to get up and promote. Yeah. Natural. I mean, my blood boils if I don't share something.
That's like me with helping people. Like people are like, you should get paid often, like you're doing. And I'm like, it's a part of who I am. I have to help you. It's yes, that's great. But my first initial instinct and desire, my heart space is I want to help you and I want nothing in return. I just want to help you because that's why I incarnated here. That's right.
That's right. And yes, he does do I know he does a Sunday night class with a 30 fiat circulation. Also support all of that he's doing on his website, on his Rumble. Rumble is a what we call I have Rumble, but I haven't put up anything on there. I have Patreon. I have what's the other one? I think it's called Gab. I got Gab. Those are all free speech platforms to be able to
speak. What you could do?
Yes, what's going on?
Simon, you could, what I did on Rumble and another one, I'm not sure if it was Gab, I just port all my YouTube videos. It's a process. They pull it through. So you don't have to physically pull and put yourself. They just automatically bring all your videos over. If you want me to show you how I can.
Yeah, please, because I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right on Patreon. So I just put the link in there. So I guess I would have to do. Yeah, you have to Rumble. I haven't even set up Rumble. I've had Rumble for at least 5 years, but I just had to set up a new account and get because I forgot my password. I forgot the password for Rumble. So that's why I had to set up a new account. But no, I'm going on a lot because, they're taking down a lot of channels, especially dealing with the medical stuff and all that. They took down a lot of videos from mine, but because I saturate my YouTube channel with so much positive and productive stuff, that those little medical things with Phil and Curtis Koss, who wrote the book Vaccines Are Dangerous, they took those down. They took those down swiped it right off my channel. So, I got to deal with that just like another content creator just got his whole channel taken down. Red and Blue Pill got their whole channel taken down. So, we got to be very mindful, but yet we need to always download and upload. That's why I'm getting another hard drive and stuff to external hard drive so I can just put everything there. Yeah,
how you can get around them not touching your things, because I follow Dr. John Campbell and that man's content is amazing. And he's able to share. He's gotten little strikes, but he's able to share. He the truth and new information at that, because he's using their document. He's ciphering from their information. So that's the nuance of how to get around.
It's just these demons just like to work. They've broken every treaty, so they don't care to do what they do.
They don't like. There's no rule that they abide by. There's no laws that can hold them. Laws apply to us, but not them. And they're the ones breaking them.
And you know they shouldn't. They shouldn't apply to any rules, because we are the original men and women of the universe, and believe that we're the original men and women of the universe. And like Bobby Hemmett said, those spirits are trying to get over here to what we're doing. A lot of them are trying to come here. They're trying to take over bodies and get into babies and all. They're trying to come here. Bobby Hemmett said that years ago. He said, man, that's why he said he don't. That's why Bobby said he don't worship none of them and do all that stuff, because they're trying to come to us. They're trying to be right here with us. So look, acknowledge like Aseer was dropping all this wisdom. And I believe that he was one of I know he was one of the children of Bobby and Phil and all of them. All of us was young. I'm telling you, all of us was young, just listening to these guys. I was in the nation, still listening. I was inside of, the Dr. Khalids and all them. That was Dr. Khalid was going out and listening to them and Dr. Ben and Jewel Pruckerman and bringing it back to the FOI and trying to teach us at the same time. So it was
Dr. Ben, like
Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, go watch
Dr. Henry Clark. Oh my gosh, I would give.
Did you watch the lecture that Dr. John Henry Clark did on the Marcus Garvey 100 years before Marcus Garvey? What molded and made Marcus Garvey who he is? He did a whole lecture on that.
That sounds familiar. Yeah. I
very
think so.
Powerful.
He was standing at a podium, right?
Yeah,
well, he's always pretty much.
When he was able to see, able to see and teach.
Yeah.
Dr. Clark, because
he didn't need to see. I was watching lecture where he couldn't see a lick, and he was still dropping those bombs. I was like,
he's still good at it. That's just Dr. Clark. And I had the opportunity to meet him before he transitioned.
What was that like?
Oh, well, he was with his wife, and we was at the Bill McCrary report. Those who know who Bill McCrary was, he was one of those. He was like Gil Noble back in the day, and Tony Brown. And we went, myself and the Force MDs. I was a journalist, and I was there to cover the Force MDs for a music journal. And then Dr. John Henry Clark is sitting right there getting ready to get interviewed. I just went up to him. I said, Baba Clark, I know he couldn't see me, but he heard my voice. He said, yes, young man. He was respect to you, sir. I said, yes, sir. I really love your energy and all that. And I visited Dr. Ben while he was in the hospice. I've seen him lecture before. Me and the elders came, so it wasn't no photo op. Yeah, I went to the elders. That's why you're never going to see a picture of it at the old folks' home with Dr. Ben, because me and Clemson Brown, the one from Tap Videos who just transitioned, we went over there to give him food, to give him money, to push him around, take him outside, and do whatever. And it was priceless, because all of them were older than me, and it was just priceless to hear them sit down and talk.
I love that.
And Clemson Brown brought me there and in trust, and that I wasn't going to do something crazy. And I'm just one of those. I'm an old soul, so I ain't going to do it.
I'm so grateful for Tap Video, Serious Times. Serious Time. I binge. Sarah was talking about, like, people who binge.
Yes.
I was the binger because this information was so new to me. Yes. And I was just gobbling up because my soul was like, yes, I recognize this. Oh my God, this is true. Yes, yes. Oh.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I love it.
And he just passed on it, but his son and his nephew is taking it over, and they're still uploading stuff. Mm-hmm. And I have a video of what I want to share, reshare on my YouTube channel. Me traveling with Clemson Brown, driving and interviewing him while we driving and talking.
Oh, wow.
And very fun, and just to see and a lot of our great slave theater. People talk about the slave theater in Brooklyn, man. And what's so interesting, Ivan Van Sertima, and you and Ivan Van Sertima born the same day. You and Ivan Van Sertima.
That makes sense.
You and Ivan Van Sertima is born the same day. Yes. Salutations to Sister Kafunya. Hey, Kafunya.
Oh, I love that. Hello.
Wow. We are Ivan Van Sertima, a historian that dig deep you know, that went into the jungles or the forests of Guyana to find certain artifacts, and went all over and studied. And I studied under J.A. Rogers, who from Jamaica. That's why I keep on telling, why isn't J.A. Rogers a part of the national heroes of Jamaica?
Because you know why.
I know that history.
He's speaking the truth, and they don't want the truth out there. They want us to still be considered as crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to call a friend of mine from that used to be connected to that whole thing in Huey and all of that from America. That she used to do a lot of fundraising. Her name is Anne Marie, and so and also Lorraine Campbell Brown, who's a relative of mine. I got to ask them, how can you what's the process of making someone born right there in Jamaica, who is a historian, who was well-traveled, who brought the 100 amazing facts about the Negroes, sex and races, nature has no color line. The guy who brings these books to the world, and you not have him as a national hero in Jamaica, like Bob Marley and Nani and the Kujo and all these people. Are you crazy? That's crazy to me. To me, it's crazy. So I'm going to call some people this week.
You know what? I think, that is a good move because, oh my goodness, what's her name? She was a singer and she was funny.
Who, a black singer,
black Jamaican.
Who, not Miss Lou.
Yes, Miss Lou.
Yeah, my aunt them knew Miss Lou.
Miss Lou. So Miss Lou's grandson
Louis
and
Bennett.
family had to
petition
to do this. So I think it's based on the person having to do this, because oftentimes these institutions.
Yeah.
There's there's other motivations for them to pick people to represent.
But they have a university. All you have to do is really go petition through the university to get education as a person of education, as a hero.
Okay, but look at Boris Hammond. It was Buju that had to advocate for him, for them to recognize him, right? And it's like, really, this is a national treasure, and he's still alive. But you're gonna wait till he's no longer here to be like, oh my God, he was so great.
Thank you very much. You just said something. I can reach out to Buju's people because I used to work with them, or I can reach out to Boris Hammond's cousin, Sharon Gordon, and ask her, because she's well versed in a lot of that stuff. Thank you. You just said that. My gosh. Thank you for reminding me. But big up to Boris Hammond. Give him a round of applause. Got his honorary
doctor.
Honorary
Boris Hammond.
Big up to Boris Hammond, one of the great singers out of J.A., who used to be with a band called Zap Powell. That was his band from back in the day. He was like Teddy Pendergrass when he was with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Oh,
that's how that was. So, and a lot of people don't know, Zap Powell was one of those groups that, like the Gay Lads and the Gladiators and all those groups, the Heptones and all of that. Sharon Gordon Kafunya. If you still have her number, text me. I'm gonna try to hit her up on Facebook if you have Sharon Gordon's number. I know she would definitely know, and then I'm gonna call my girl who used to work at the embassy. Still that number's still around. But we just had a great show with Aseer, the Duke of Tears family.
That was fabulous.
It was, and if you did not get to see it, rewind and come again, because it was powerful how he kept it going with the discernment to avoid manipulation by propaganda. So, and big up to this sister. She designed this flyer and as our template. And you notice her flyer. Our next interview on next Wednesday will be the one, the only, the first Black female impressionist in America, and the first Black female or melanated female to write for Saturday Night Live. We have the one, the only, Dr. I forgot to read through. I forgot that it said it in that. Dr. Sylvia Traymore Morrison will be with us. I am happy to have her on because I have been an admirer for comedians for many years. And a lot of people, when I was talking to her on the phone, you know, a lot of comedians don't know how important they are to the culture of mental health.
Oh, for real.
That's part they don't realize because they're just going up there to do jokes and they're bringing their own trauma to the stage.
Right.
But they don't know how important it is, even during the whole pandemic, how people needed to laugh.
Right.
I was binging on comedy shows.
Right.
And then coming out and speaking online and talking my stuff in backyards and stuff, having fun. You know what I'm saying? And enjoying and just giving the numerovational perspective. If I'm a numerovator, I have to promote through numerovation, motivating people with numbers. So a lot of them, and she's an impressionist. You know how to imitate Whoopi Goldberg and different people.
I know, she's so good.
And I just heard her on a live today and talking about the madness that they had to go through in a male-dominant industry at that time.
I can't even imagine. Like, it's
people wanting to have sex with her, rub my shoulder, I rub you, rub my back, I rub your back when they want you to do head or lay on the casting couch. Listen, and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy.
If it can happen to background actors, I cannot imagine what that level, their level, how, you know, disrespected they've had to navigate through the disrespect.
Yeah. It's crazy. Thank you, Kafunya. I'll text me her number when you get a chance. I'm sure her birthday, matter of fact, Sharon Gordon's birthday either just passed or it's going to be tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
I know Sharon. I know her. She's a Scorpion energy. So either her birthday just passed around the 26th or it's going to be November the 9th, if I'm not sure. Because tomorrow is Ava Muhammad's birthday. Tomorrow is also
I don't know how you do it. Your memory.
Birthday. Today is, of course, loving you is so easy.
Really?
Today is Minnie Riperton's birthday. Today is Helene's birthday from Sacred City.
How? Like, how do you do this?
What?
Your memory, how you're able to just pull from the ethers all these random people, like celebrities from 1909. You know that one, right? Like, that are not around. 1909. To like people that are in current rotation. That is amazingly powerful.
Oh, sis, somebody said facts. Facts. I love it. No, if you love something, you do it well. That's all it is. It's all about the love. I do it for the love, not the likes. And my love have developed. My love has developed into something that I can make energy from and currency from. So that's the love, believe me, because in the early days, I was just keeping these numbers to myself and doing my own thing.
But come on. I love stuff. Like, I love, you know, the things that I work on. Astrology, numerology, tarot.
Yes.
My people, my personal people, I love them to bits. I cannot pull their birthday out of thin air like that. I literally... Like, look how serious I am. I have a book that's called Birthday Book, where I literally have to have my people's birthdays in it. Really? Yes, because I'm like, oh my God.
Show that book again. Let people see what that is. Show that book. The Birthday Book. Okay, so you write down everybody's birthday and then you have to remember. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
But you're like, anybody you ask, like, you just know their birthday.
Yeah, I know.
That's incredible. That's a talent.
Kafunya is on here. She's born August 16th. Shaniqua is on here. She's born February 19th. I mean, I can just remember. I'm just that dude.
That's a superpower.
Yeah, it is a superpower. But I learned. Lloyd is one of my teachers, and Lloyd, you get Lloyd up here. We need to interview him on our show, on this show. Let him just pull from it, because Lloyd goes back to the older side, and I could deal with the younger artists. And I remember I was on a Sonetta's TV show one time. And Sonetta just started running off all the conscious people and then started running off all the rappers. And I just started spitting people, spitting at it, spitting them down, tailing their birthday. He asked me about KRS-One. He asked me about this person. He asked me about that. He asked me about Polite. He asked me about Dr. Wesley Muhammad, Red Pill and Blue Pill. He started throwing all these names. And I just said, It was just coming at me. I'm like, okay, yeah, you finished that? Like, do I need to keep on proving? Well, somebody on this chat said, man, one thing about numerology, it is entertaining. And I'm not doing it for entertainment, to tell you the truth. It's not a card.
It's your delivery. It's your delivery. And that's what has people engaged and coming back, because you don't make it boring. Like, people are like, oh my God, you know, and yeah. No, I like watching Lloyd as well. Like, I don't find his delivery boring at all. Like, I'm always like, ooh.
Because Lloyd is radio trained, so he knows how to. That's why I tell people, Lloyd keeps his evenness. If you hear him, he's just right there, radio voice. He's right on the voice. Me, because I was a hype man on television and on radio, and they called me the live wire. That's what they call me, Simon Templar, the live wire. So I was always turned up on stage.
Right.
I'm always that stage. I'm the one that starts the show all the time and closes the show. You know what I'm saying? Because so I was there, right there with some of your most hypest people that from Canada know me, man. Some of them. You know, but I love it. We had a great, that is a super gift. Thank you very much. Shakina McBride, what's up, girl? She's an extraordinary talent also. This sister here is an extraordinary tarot and intuitive reader and consultant also. Shaniqua Lena, I've had on my show before. Of course, I've had Sister Kafunya. Her and I go back.
Okay, we need to have these people on here.
Kafunya is in my book, so I know Kafunya is already in my book, so I know how that works. You know, so take up to all of y'all. Man, we had a good time, family.
We did.
And I really enjoyed it. It's 10:11. Lord have mercy. You got to get some rest. So I got to make sure.
I don't know how time flies so quickly when you're having fun, but it does. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us, for lending your energy, and for being open-minded to hear things that are new to some and very familiar to others. It's all about expansion, you know, like we really have to keep that in mind. We're here to expand consciously, emotionally, physically, and bring each other along as we do that. So take good care of your heart until we meet again next Wednesday.
That's right. Thank you very much again, family. It is such a joy to be with somebody that knows how to just continue to keep the flow, even when I take myself off the screen. Keep the flow. And that's what makes a good co-host. That's what me and Prince Kalunda, one of my friends, from my co-hosts from back in the day, he was right there, the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces, and he knew how to. If I dropped off, he knew how to drop right back on. And that when he dropped off, I know how to drop back. And that is how. No dead air. Always about keeping it moving when you're co-hosting a show, and we bringing the borders together. Toronto, Canada, and of course America. Atlanta, Georgia is in the building doing what we do, and we're right here in the healing universe. We're the healing vibe universe. This is what we do. All about the healing vibe. We love ya. Y'all be safe. Y'all be focused, and y'all stay out of people's business.
Bye, everyone.
Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.